You're listening to the Chinook Sports Podcast with your hosts, Nathan Bannerman and Robert Greer.
Number 47 for Boston. Well, guys, 5 minutes each for fighting.
So I was watching basketball on Pornhub yesterday. It's so cheesy. I love it.
Welcome to episode number 1. We got Nathan Bannerman on the line, calling in from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. How's everything going with you today?
Hey, not too bad. I'm glad we got this up and running.
No kidding, right? What is it? A month in the making, or 2 months, or what? 6 weeks.
You've had it planned since COVID, haven't you?
Yeah, pretty much, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what... I don't know. I've had it in the back of my mind for a little while, so let's start with...
Where do you want to start?
I don't know. I'm thinking about hockey. How does that sound?
Yeah, hockey in August.
Oh,
That's
God.
what everyone thinks about.
No. I'm thinking about golf and women in bikinis on a beach, to be honest with you.
Well, 2020 has another script for you then.
I know. Just another letdown of 2020. Should be getting ready for, I don't know, football season 2. Or actually, we should be going to football games right now. 3 weeks out from Labor Day Classic.
Should be. I mean, that could be something we bring up later because that's a whole mess of a situation as well.
Hockey, well, we're into technically round 1 of the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess you could call it officially round 1 of the Stanley Cup Playoffs.
I know all the stats counted towards the playoffs in the qualifying round.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I kind of feel for the guys who, maybe scored their first Stanley Cup playoff goal, but it's just for the qualifier.
Yeah.
So does that take away from scoring in the playoffs? Like, because, scoring in the postseason is such a huge thing for a lot of kids, and now it's linked to the qualifiers. Does that still have meaning to it?
Yeah, I would kind of think so. Just, in the given times, there's definitely going to be an asterisk beside it. But right now, what sport isn't going to have an asterisk beside it? Any surprises or letdowns from the qualifying round?
Well, I think both hub cities expected a lot more from their teams, Toronto and Edmonton. I think both wanted to be in it. And that would have been kind of cool because, especially Edmonton, I think they could have been, I forget who they faced in the qualifiers, but they faced Chicago.
Yeah.
So they could have been up against Vegas. So we could have had a conference finals between Calgary and Edmonton if, everything went well. But
Well, that would have been really good.
yeah, we could still have an all-Canadian matchup, knock on wood.
Vancouver,
Calgary. Vancouver, yeah.
That would probably be in the West Finals, if things go well with that?
Yeah. Or no, it would be round 2, so
Would it
the conference semis.
Okay.
That would be pretty fun.
But truthfully, I would not want to play Vancouver. I feel so sorry for the Blues right now.
Yeah, Vancouver's actually done really well. They're up 2-0 against the Stanley Cup champs. Like, who saw that coming? Probably no one.
I don't know. Out of all the Canadian teams right now, I have to give the advantage to Vancouver. They are a young, well-rounded team. Calgary still has holes on their bottom line and on the bottom D pair. Goaltending is suspect at times. Edmonton, goaltending is suspect all the times, and same with defense. Winnipeg, I think they're probably going to go through a transition period. Their stars just aren't, Laine's just not playing like a star.
Yeah.
So, and then Toronto, well,
Yeah.
they're always the favorite in Toronto.
Yeah. I was expecting more from them, and I mean, they locked up, what, 3 or 4 guys at $30 million combined, which I think is, what, almost half of the salary cap space that they're allowed.
Yep.
And here we are. They didn't even make it to round 1. They couldn't even lose to Boston in the playoffs.
Yeah, truthfully, that's going to hurt them in the future. I really do think. You just can't have that with 3 players on your roster taking that much money.
Yeah. They're going to have to eventually make a trade, obviously. I think if they do, I feel Austin Matthews is going to be, like, I'm not trying to speculate, and I'm not going to try and be Bob McKenzie. But, just looking at it, as just a fan of hockey, like, I can't see how, because he has that connection with Arizona.
Yeah.
Being from there and all that. I can't see if the Leafs, let's say the next 3 years, don't even make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know how he stays and wants to stay.
Yeah, no, they definitely have a window. I give them 3 years and maybe 4. Well, didn't Matthews and Marner both sign a 5-year contract or 6? I thought it was 5.
5, yeah. Pretty sure it's 5.
So in the East Conference, we got Boston and Carolina. Both seeded, both won victory apiece right now. Mm-hmm. Who do you got in that one?
The easy answer is Boston, because they're just such a powerful team.
Yeah.
But I think you got to go with the bunch of jerks. I think Carolina can pull it off, and I think it's going to go 6 or 7.
Oh, of course.
If they do pull it off. But I don't know. I feel that they could cause some upsets in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Well, you were just in the Ontario region. Like, is Southern Ontario cheering for Carolina now because of David Ayers? Like their hometown hero?
They could be. They're still pretty depressed about the Leafs, so
Tampa and Columbus, sorry.
Yeah.
Game 1, we had that beautiful 5-period overtime.
What's sad about that is there's 4 other overtime games that went longer than that, or 3 or something like that. Yeah, so the fact that there are 5 overtime games wasn't the longest in NHL history. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I knew it was in the top 5 for the longest. Do you see, like, Columbus pulling off another upset against Tampa, or did Tampa learn from last year? Because you got to remember, the Blue Jackets did sweep them last year, right?
Yeah, they did, and obviously that's not happening again because both teams have now won a game.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Tampa's one of those teams that they got a lot of star power, but I think underrated star power. Stamkos as the captain, I don't feel he's gotten a lot of respect.
Right.
And maybe that's because of the market. I mean, we've seen a sport in Tampa where they don't support their team.
Yeah, that
but their team does really well.
Well, you went to a home game, didn't you, when you were in Florida?
Yeah, I was against the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, but like, how was the crowd? Like,
it was pretty much, I would say 50-50, because obviously everyone goes down to Florida.
Yeah.
As like a nice break from Canadian winters and whatnot. So it was pretty close to 50-50. I would like to see a game where it's against, like, Carolina or Boston or
the
Arizona.
Panthers.
Like, or
or
if
the
anyone
Devils
decides to go out. Yeah.
No, I thought that they would have pretty decent support down there, but
yeah, but also, like, the media coverage isn't. I mean, obviously we get all 7 Canadian teams, but then we hear about Boston, we hear about like quite a bit Boston, Pittsburgh, things like that. We don't really hear that about Tampa, even though they do really well almost every year the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, they beat us in 04.
Yep.
Right? Still a sore spot for you?
Yep. But anyway.
Yeah, that puck was in. I swear.
It was.
We need to get a petition.
I'm just saying.
Then off to, I guess, Washington and the Islanders. Islanders are up to 2-0 in this series. I have to ask, where the hell is Ovechkin?
Maybe he's still quarantining somewhere.
Well, I guess it looks like he showed up game 2. He did score 2 goals.
Yeah, the Islanders are kind of that odd team, too, that they're streaky, They can do really well, and then all of a sudden, they're just out, So is this a good streak for them? Up 2 games? Do they all of a sudden lose 4 in a row? But I feel Washington can come back.
Yeah, well,
I don't like to admit it because I'm not a big Washington fan, but I don't know. This team's too stacked to let this slide.
I've seen them down 3 games and come back and win it in 7 between Braden Holtby and Ovechkin, and yeah, their entire team. They are stacked. If the Islanders can actually pull it off, it will be something to see.
I think if the Islanders can pull it off, then there's a good chance that they're gonna make it to the finals, because you're either going to play Boston or Carolina. But so if you play Boston, you can already beat a really good team.
Yeah.
You just beat Washington. If you play Carolina, even though they're 6th and Carolina's 5th in terms of ranking, you can still, you can beat them. Again, you just beat Washington.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And then you're going to face either Philly, Montreal, Tampa, or Columbus. With no disrespect to any of those teams, how do you stop that momentum? Because it's kind of like the Flames in 2004.
Yeah.
Right? They went against Detroit, Vancouver, San Jose. All these teams were 1, 2, 3, I think, in the standings.
Yeah, the Flames snuck in on 8. Well, and another team to do it was L.A. And they won the Stanley Cup quick, right?
Led.
Yeah. Well, and it looks like Eberle's kind of had a resurgence on the island too, right?
Mm-hmm,
with Matthew Barzal, I don't know, you just can't really count them out.
No, for sure.
The only factor and they got, I can't even pronounce his name, but their goalie, Varlamov.
Yeah, Varlamov. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I'm horrible at pronouncing names. He's decent and he can win you games too, right?
Mm-hmm. I just watching a replay of Ovechkin's goal against the Islanders, and I don't know how this team is down too.
Well, not everybody's showing up.
Yeah.
Ovechkin just showed up today. He was invisible game 1, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it looks like Holtby wasn't. It was a 5-2 win, obviously, whenever this airs. This is August 14th.
Montreal and Philly.
Probably the most surprising team to make it into the playoffs was Montreal. They were the 24th seeded team, and they took out Pittsburgh. That's wild.
You got that X factor in Price, right?
The thing is with Montreal is you had Price for, what is this now? Almost 10 years, I think.
Might even be longer.
Possibly. And they haven't done anything. They had that one stretch where they went. Didn't they make it to the finals? No, a few years. I think I was honestly in high school when they made a run with Yaroslav Halak, and they just haven't done much. And that's and Philly is kind of that odd team that they're always there. It feels like, like they're always making noise somewhere. So this is kind of a good battle between two underdogs.
Yeah.
Despite Philly being ranked first and Montreal 8th or whatever, like if you look at it, and you people will probably pick Tampa, Washington or Boston to represent, but I don't know. I think both these two teams have things to prove that, obviously Montreal with Carey Price, Philadelphia proving that they're better than Pittsburgh.
Oh, of course. Well, and Carter Hart wasn't happy about the loss today either. Like, he stormed off the ice. The X factor leads me to Montreal. Like, it's going to be Carey Price. We've seen it time and time again in the playoffs. Hot goaltending wins you championships. I guess for the East, I'd probably go Boston, Tampa, Islanders, Montreal. Those are my picks.
All right. Interesting. All right. I'll go official picks here. We'll put it on the record.
Let me write this down. This could be interesting.
We're going to go, you know what? I'm going to put in the series too. All right. I'm going to be wrong on all of them. So I'm sorry, but all right. We're going to go Montreal in 7.
Okay.
Distance there. Columbus is going to upset in 6. Okay. That's a bold one. Washington comes back and wins it in 4 or in 6. 4-game win streak.
Wow. Holy crap. Here.
Bannerman's bold predictions of a new segment.
Oh, we got to get... We should really get a soundbite for that one.
Bannerman's bold but stupid predictions. And then we're going to go Carolina in 7 over Boston.
Wow.
So everyone can book it, bet on it. Don't blame me when it doesn't happen.
Wow. You just don't want to see Marchand, do you?
I mean, Marchand versus Kachuk in the finals would be wild.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
Like, who's more annoying? Who's more annoying? Brad Marchand or Matthew Kachuk?
I don't know.
I'll just point out, Marchand licks people.
Could I say Connor
McDavid? I've not seen
McDavid?
Kachuk lick someone yet.
Yet. Well, so off to the Western Conference. We got St. Louis versus Vancouver.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of touched on the Vancouver at least a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. I think it's surprising that St. Louis is down 2-0. But you just kind of wonder how teams took the break, right? And how each individual person, not necessarily player, but each individual person was able to train and get ready, because obviously COVID was a wild thing,
Well,
absolutely crazy.
Well, wasn't the Blues organization struck with COVID like right before the bubble happened?
That's a good question. I'm not sure about that.
Another great
possibly.
question.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I thought I read somewhere about that there was like 7 players and staff or something that got it, tested positive for it or something. So I don't know. Maybe that might be affecting their gameplay. But I still truly think Vancouver is probably the best well-rounded young team in the NHL right now. Well, that would,
How weird is that to say? Yeah. Either take a second there.
Vancouver or Vegas. Like, those are the 2 teams. And truthfully, Colorado, I'd even put up there, are the 3 teams I do not want to face. I really don't. Like, Vancouver's rebuild has, to me, shocked me, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I as an organization as a whole, I put them higher than the Flames, and I put them higher than Edmonton, just because they're all round. They're not focusing on, You have McDavid and you got Draisaitl up in Edmonton. What do you have behind them?
There's that one guy.
Yeah, no, exactly. And don't you have a jersey of him or something?
Oh, Nugent Hopkins, my man.
Is he going to be around next year after what he said?
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, we can probably touch on Edmonton later, but I mean, he could be a good trade piece for a team like Vancouver.
Yeah.
You know, he's still fairly young. He's honestly like my age, like 26, 27. So still young in a sense. Still really skilled. Like, I think he's in the shadows of McDavid now, unfortunately. And I don't think it was, usually players can kind of, Zach Cassian, for example, has career high in goals.
Yeah.
Because of Connor McDavid.
Right.
So guys like him have, done really well. But for a guy like Nugent Hopkins, who was, one of the many first overall picks for the Oilers, he's now all of a sudden kind of taken a bit of a back seat.
Yeah.
And that might have hurt him a little bit, but he's still very skilled and still producing, just maybe not to what I think Edmonton fans really were hoping for.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, and I don't know, Hall was kind of like that right after Nugent Hopkins was drafted too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess speaking of Hall, we'll go on to the next match, Arizona versus Colorado.
Arizona having a hockey team still boggles my mind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. To be honest, mine too. Like that franchise, I don't know how it's still, I don't want to say how it's still around. Like, to me, they probably should have moved about 6 years ago. To where? I don't know. But send them to Houston.
But Arizona, their general manager up and quit just before, I think, the qualifiers. He just wrote a letter and said, "I'm done.
Oh, wow.
I'm out of here." Yeah, I think it's because there was some issues with like Taylor Hall's contract, I think. Now, I don't know if that's fully why he would leave. Obviously, you only get so much from Twitter and social media, and that's what you hear. We're not sitting in the office and the homes listening to these conversations, but yeah, I mean, the fact that they even have a chance. I mean, they only lost by 1 in game 2, so
yeah. But
I don't know, like that organization they need an Austin Matthews.
Well, they got Taylor Hall and Phil the Thrill.
True, but I think it might mean a little more if they had someone from Arizona.
Right.
Like a superstar.
And you're right. Like, honestly, Hall's unrestricted free agent. I know there's about half of the Calgary fans want to pick him up. I don't know why.
But on the other side, for Colorado, this team is a team that they're trending upwards and they're doing it really well.
Yeah.
They've got, a good core with McKinnon, Landeskog, and then they added that key piece out of Brooks, Cale Makar,
right,
on defense. Like, you talked about Vancouver being really good, organizational wise. Colorado's right up there, and they've drafted really well.
Yeah.
Which is key.
Yeah, very
key.
well.
The draft, I think, is so... I think maybe some people think it's overrated, but man, when you get those 5th, 6th rounders, that can work for you.
Calgary and Dallas.
Yeah, this series, I think it's probably going to be one of the tighter series in the West for sure. Both teams just looking to redeem themselves in the playoffs. Neither have really had a lot of playoff success.
Well, look at last
20
year.
Years.
Well, look at last year. Calgary, wound up first in the Western Conference throughout the season, and then they faced 8 seed Colorado, and Colorado beat them in 5 games.
Yep.
we pretty much waxed their ass in game 1, and then I don't know what the hell happened. Johnny Hockey went invisible. Didn't like getting hit for some odd reason. I'm sorry, I still have a sore spot.
But yeah, no, this is going to be a good series. I mean, obviously, I hope Calgary wins.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, work-wise and living in the city-wise, like, you know.
Of course. Too bad you don't work on commission, right?
Yeah, that would be nice, but it's not how she goes. But, you know, whenever Calgary does really well in the playoffs, like, the city just all of a sudden kind of is a little more fun to be around, you know? You got the Flames flags on cars and, you know, on big pickup trucks, like, guys got their 3x5 flags, and, you know, the city's got a little more
redneck.
Yeah, a little more redneck. We start coming out with our redneck hockey. I don't know. I mean, Dallas is, you know, like I said, they're looking for something better in the postseason.
Yeah,
because I think really last time they did really well was honestly when they won the cup back in the
Modano era?
90? Yeah, the Mike Modano and Joe Nieuwendyk era, I think.
Yeah. And they got a decent young team too. Like, like you got Tyler Seguin, and I keep saying that Edmonton should have picked him up rather than Taylor Hall, but
I got Blake, or is it Blake Como? It's a Como. Yeah, Blake Como, former Flame.
they got Penny Oleksiak's brother.
Yeah, glad you said it like that.
oh, come on. Why?
Joe Pavelski, former longtime San Jose Shark.
Yeah.
So you got a good veteran there. Corey Perry.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You got Sekera on defense.
John Klingberg. Like, his team's pretty...
and Jamie Benn. Don't forget about
Andrew
him.
Cogliano.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie Benn, Andrew Cogliano.
What the hell did they do? Like,
so his team's got a...
Did they raid Edmonton? You got Cogliano and you got Sekera, right?
Young and old. They said they probably said, all right, we want half of Calgary's leftovers and half of Edmonton's, and then we'll create a good team. But yeah, they have a good mix of young and old, which is hard to find. You know, usually you got either a team of old guys like Calgary was for so long.
And then you got the young guns.
I mean, I love Iginla, but we had Iginla, we had Tongue, we had Langkow, Conroy. You know what I mean? Like, all those guys were old in a hockey sense, you know?
Those old guys took us to the Stanley Cup Finals. You got to remember that.
Yeah, but Iginla and Conroy were, like, young at the time.
Yeah,
but it was just more the late 2000s and into the 2010s when,
right.
You know, they were like, oh, like, we're still a middle of the pack team, so we'll just keep adding veterans.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you know, the other teams got younger, right? Like, Edmonton got younger.
They got younger,
Pittsburgh,
not necessarily better.
True. Still.
I always have to bash Edmonton.
A good player.
Yeah, when you have the draft lottery handed to you every single year, of course you're going to get better. Or you should be getting better. Except they pick up the exact same player every single year.
Yeah, didn't they pick a center for 4 years in a row?
Yeah.
We're going to move on to the next series that we haven't talked about.
And that would be the Golden Knights versus Chicago Blackhawks. And are you surprised that the Golden Knights are 2 games up on Chicago right now?
No, and I'm actually quite happy about that too. Not a big Chicago fan, but they're a team that's getting old.
Well, I'm going to have to tell you, like, they do kind of have a little, you know, piece of my heart. One of my good friends is a big Chicago fan, and a kid from my hometown actually plays for them, Zach Smith. So.
Oh, right, yeah. Didn't he play for Ottawa too?
Yeah. He was traded to Chicago.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually not sure if he's actually playing right now, but
But he did officially get traded too
yeah.
to Chicago.
Yeah, I'm just going through their lineup right now. Yeah, no, he's out with an apparent back injury right now. So
Chicago's a team that definitely took advantage of their draft picks.
of
Jonathan
course.
Taves, Patrick Kane, Seabrook,
Yeah.
Duncan Keith. Like, that team was looking back, man, that team was stacked, and they still are. But I mean, now they're into their 30s, and
Yeah. Oh, of course. And, they don't have a bad lineup.
yeah,
Like, Patrick Kane can still go. You got Brendan Saad. Dylan Strome. He should, he was all talk one year at the World Juniors, wasn't he?
yeah, he was.
Thought Pierre Maguire was fairly high up on him. And you still have Jonathan Toews.
Yeah, Strome was a good player in junior for sure.
And then you have Corey Crawford in net. So that's, they're not that bad.
But Vegas, though, I think Vegas is going to be, or Seattle's going to be what Vegas is. Because obviously Vegas had that draft and was able to get some pretty decent starters.
Well,
And they've capitalized, and they've, players wanted to sign there. James Neal really didn't want to leave Vegas. He only left because Calgary offered him 5 years, and Vegas only gave him 4.
Yeah.
And
and truthfully,
didn't work out well.
Vegas was a bunch of misplaced second liners playing on third lines on their teams, right? So I guess predictions.
All right, Bannerman's bold but stupid predictions.
Oh God! Oh God!
We're going. All right, we're gonna go Vegas in 5.
Oh,
So that series will wrap up in the next 3 games.
Yeah,
we're gonna go Colorado. We're gonna do Colorado in 5.
You think?
I think Cale Makar scores the game winner in Game 5
right.
to end it. Let's say that. I'll save the hometown series for last.
Right.
I honestly think Vancouver is going to win it in 7.
In 7? Wow, you're actually giving the Blues.
In 7.
My son would be really happy for you to say that. And to be honest with you...
Just trying to get on the family will.
Yeah. And I think he's going to be really upset at my prediction, but just... Just letting you know.
I'm really hesitant to predict this series because if I'm wrong, then
go with your head, not your heart. That's why I can't bet on any teams I cheer for.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say Dallas in 6.
Oh, Nathan! Wow.
Or 7.
Or 7. Well, if Talbot keeps playing like he's playing, I don't know. So I guess
I'm going to do the reverse psychology.
Okay.
Let's say Dallas.
All right.
Hope it's the other.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. That sounds fair to me. So I'm going to say Vegas is going to be. This is going to be kind of surprise. Vegas is going to have the sweep. Okay. I'm going to go with you with Colorado in 5.
Okay. So we agree on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is where my son is going to be pissed off at me. I'm going to say Vancouver with a sweep.
The sweep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Vancouver in 4. And I'll play devil's advocate. Flames in 6.
All right. So so we'll hope for the same thing, but we'll boldly predict
Yeah.
opposites.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll just, I don't know, touch up on the PGA. Final majors of the season. I know you didn't watch much. I only really watched the second round. I mean, I guess I watched Saturday and Sunday, the final 2 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually really impressed with Colin Morikawa. He played a solid full tournament. To be honest with you, we've seen it before. Hot, young 20-year-olds come in. Like, we've seen it with Jordan Spieth. He's kind of fell off the radar. He's been a pro for 1 year, 3rd tour victory. I have to give him, all the credit. It's his first major at 23.
Yeah. What were you doing at 23?
No comment.
No.
23, I think I was pumping. I think I was pumping gas, to be honest with you. I know I should have never.
When you could pump gas.
Yeah, I know I should have never quit junior golf. So yeah, that boosts him up to world golf ranking at number 5th. He's second in the FedEx Cup. Dustin Johnson and Paul Casey. Wayne Gretzky's son-in-law, Dustin Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He finished tied with second at a -11, which wasn't bad. He's usually up there in the majors and tournaments. Not a fan of DJ. Like, I don't know. I think it's I don't know. He's had substance abuse problems, and it's kind of soured me on him. Mm-hmm. So, but whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel, my golf knowledge is second to none. But from what I've heard is with him, it's a lot of you either like him or you don't.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I've found most people on Twitter and even, Facebook comments. There's not really a lot of people that are like, he's a nice guy, I don't really like him. It's either like, yeah, he's my favorite, or don't like him.
He's one hell of a golfer. But just, life choices, his best life choice is probably, marrying Wayne's daughter, so.
True.
I wouldn't be complaining. Jason Day, he's been on top for a little bit. He kind of has had a resurgence as of late. Mm-hmm. He tied for 4th. Brooks Koepka. That one really surprised me. His first 3 rounds of the tournament, he was in contention. And Sunday, just couldn't pull it together. In the past couple of years, he's just had one hell of a 2-year run. Won the 2018 and 2019 PGA Championship. So if he would have won this year, it would have been 3 in a row. He won the 2017 and 2018 US Open, tied at the 2019 Masters, and tied for 4th at the 2019 Open Championship, which any of you non-golfers out there is referred to as the British Open. And yeah, shot a 74 final round and finished tied 29th at -3. And notables like Rory tied for 33, -2. Tiger 37, tied for 37 at -1. Phil, Bubba Watson, Jordan Spieth all tied 70 at 71 at +4, which all passed major championships, which was kind of a surprise to me.
Yeah, all 3 of those guys. You hear them all the time on TSN and Sportsnet, and that's a fun group to play golf with if you don't care about the outcome.
Of course. Well, they'd still all, kick my ass, but like, Jordan Spieth was the next up and comer, hot out of the gate, and I'm going to compare him to the winner this year. Like, both hot out of the gate, first year. Yeah, Spieth has just kind of fallen flat the last couple of years. And the other surprise was Ricky Fowler. This was his first missed cut of a major. It was, an entertaining final major of the year. That's for sure. From what I watched. I know you didn't watch it. But
unfortunately, really, I didn't watch any sports this past weekend, but that's not the point.
So what do you want to talk about next there, Nathan? Want to talk about the NFL?
Yeah.
We got training camp going.
We do. We're supposed to have preseason games, but...
Are they going with that? Well, so...
No, they've canceled all preseason games.
Did they cancel all Okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, just extended training camp for everyone. Basically a whole month of facing off against your own teammates.
Well, that's better than nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're probably going to be the NFL guy. You'll be the NFL insider for this. So a little backstory on Nathan. You write for a Niner fan page?
Yeah, Niner Noise and Golden Gate Sports as well. They cover Niners a little bit. But yeah, Niner Noise was my first big step into the NFL bubble.
Nice. So 60 plus players right now that's kind of dropping out of playing?
Yeah, I think 8 or 9 players have dropped out from just the New England Patriots alone.
Yeah.
And I think they're still going to win the Super Bowl.
Well, you got Belichick. What, you don't think Tampa's going to win the Super Bowl with Brady?
We can discuss predictions later.
Yeah, of course.
But no, it's a very unique situation. Like, I know the Niners had 2 guys opt out, and that was it. Neither were, with no disrespect to them, but neither were really expected to make the roster per se.
Right.
Both receivers, really skilled, deep threats, but I don't know. Niner Twitter just couldn't see them making it anyway, so maybe having a year off might actually benefit them.
Right.
But yeah, I know. Yeah, like I said, New England had a bunch drop out. I think Dallas should just drop out.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
I won't.
All right.
One of my good friends might be listening to this.
Dak and Zeke. But yeah, you had written a bubble system.
Is the NFL not learning from like baseball?
I think one of the big issues with football being in a bubble is you have pretty much, how many guys do they have on the field at a time? Like 22 per team on the field. So you have 11 offense, 11 defense, plus substitutions.
I was going to say, how many can they dress? 40 something? No.
Yeah. I think, is it 40? Yeah, I think, or I think the CFL is like 40 man roster for game day.
Right.
NFL might be the same. But so let's say you have minimum 40 players.
Yeah.
Or maximum, dependent. But then you also have your coaching staff, your training staff.
Yeah.
Now I know, teams might look at narrowing that down.
Yeah.
To the essentials, like maybe head coach, offense, defensive coordinator, if teams have separate. I know with the 49ers, for example, they have like Kyle Shanahan's head coach and offensive coordinator.
Right.
And then defense. Some teams obviously have it all spread out. So do you need all those other assistants and other coaches. But the thing is, so let's say each team has 50 players or 50 within their organization that are allowed in a bubble. Where are these bubbles going to be?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking like, you have NHL bubble in 2 cities. With the NFL, I'd almost have to say you'd probably have to have it maybe in 4 cities. But
yeah, and
like,
and the other thing with that is which cities in the United States can have things like this.
Yeah, no, exactly. Right. Let's just have them all play in like, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, South Dakota.
Do these places even have like NFL stadiums?
Who says it has to be NFL stadiums?
I guess that's true.
However, Montana has a field regulation size.
That's true. I just watched Field of Dreams for the first time the other day, and if you build it, they will come. Well, if you have a field, they will come.
The MLB was actually going to have a game on that field this year. That was actually canceled, right?
Yeah, I heard about that.
So, like, I guess segue going into that would be Major League Baseball and I don't know. They kind of revised their COVID rules. Players can't go out to stores when they get home. Like, just small little rules like that. And
yeah, baseball certain teams proved who's going to care about this season and who's not going to care about this season. Obviously, I flew out, visited Brienne, and we were careful, we were masked, sanitized everywhere, tried to stay out of as many enclosed spaces as possible with other people.
Yeah.
You have the Miami Marlins going out to nightclubs.
That's
and
you live in Miami.
Team.
You live in Miami. You have to go to the nightclubs.
Yeah, but listen, you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a sport.
Yeah,
no, you can stay home.
Yeah, no, that's entirely true. And even St. Louis, look at the Cardinals. Yeah. I looked on, even their game today was postponed. What is their record right now? Here, I'm just going to bring this up. They were supposed to play Chicago White Sox today. Their record right now is 2-3. I don't think they have played a game. Their last game has to be end of July.
Yeah.
So 10 hours ago, I'm just looking, this is going to be credited the score. Cardinals to play 11 double headers in modified MLB schedule. So August 15th, they play the White Sox. August 17th, they play the Cubs. August 19th, they play the Cubs. 27th, they play the Pirates. So apparently, one of their paragraphs, Cardinals who've taken part in just 5 games so far will play 21 in August and 32 in September for a total of 58. St. Louis now has at least 11 doubleheaders scheduled for the remainder of the campaign.
Yikes.
That puts them on a massive disadvantage heading into the playoffs, but if they even make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Even their playoff format this year, since it's changed, I know they're allowing more teams in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I think it was 4 or no. Yeah, I do know they've expanded it. So now almost any team is, I think half the league is now going to be in the playoffs.
Right.
I I understand. I think they're trying to make it a permanent thing,
Right.
in their next CBA agreement and all that. I don't know how well that's been taken across the league.
Yeah.
I think if your teams like, San Francisco, the Angels, even Toronto, if we want to stretch it a little bit, those teams might benefit.
Right.
Because usually they're pretty much on the bubble, if not kind of out of it. But I mean, for a team like Toronto, for example,
Well, they're
next year
they're
you
sitting
give them a
fourth
chance.
in the AL East right now.
Yeah. But I think if you give them a chance, with a full season, they could probably, if you keep, saying like the MLB is like, hey, like we're still going to have 16 teams or whatever. Toronto could be in that wild card position, if not a bit better next year.
Yeah, very true. Like they got a couple of young players that look fairly decent.
Yeah.
Like Vladdy.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that this team is in Toronto. And I say that because the media, I went to school for media. I love sports media, but it's just, Toronto is just so, they expect every team to do well, and that's fair, but they sometimes just don't let the team grow. And this team, I think they're like allowing them to go through this growing phase to, they had good flashes last year. They're having good flashes this year.
Yeah.
They just gotta allow them to, like, Vladdy's not going to hit 60 home runs right away.
No, of
give
course
him a
not.
chance. Bo Bichette,
yeah,
give him a chance to work at shortstop, work on his defense. He's still pretty phenomenal, but he's still young. So just let these guys mature.
That was their pick this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, I wasn't too sure if they were actually going to have him play on the big team this year, but with no AAA ball, you just can't leave him sit, as far as I'm concerned. But, it does suck that you do kind of waste a year of his rookie status or entry-level status type thing.
Yeah.
Because I know that's what they were doing with Vladdy for a little bit. They didn't want to bring him up.
Yeah, it was last summer. I think he was hitting almost home runs in every single game in minors.
Yeah.
Like, his numbers were phenomenal. And of course, everyone's like, well, bring him up now. And it's like, well, I mean, they kind of want to have him for an extra year with minimal amount of money going into his pocket.
Yeah.
So,
of course.
I think they'll pay him if they, when the time comes.
Yeah.
I can't see Vladdy leaving unless unless the Chicago Cubs are like, hey, we'll offer you $4 billion. Then I'll be like, okay.
I don't know if it would be the Cubs. It might be the Yankees.
Probably.
But
yeah, and I mean the Jays also, pitching has been a huge issue as past few years. But now they got Nate Pearson, who I think they wanted to do the same thing they did with Vladdy and hold him out for a bit. But obviously, or they did actually. Sorry, they did do that.
Yeah.
This year, because I think it was like 50 games or something like that. Now they have him for an extra year. So, but yeah, this team's the market's just got to let him grow. You know, went to a Jays game last year, 2 days before Vladdy got called up.
Oh God, that would suck.
The fan base obviously has left. Quite a bit, and that's the unfortunate part I think about Toronto is, I love the city, like it's beautiful there. but it's just they gotta, support your team. Like, I get it. I get you don't want to go and watch a losing team. I understand. Been, you've watched the Stamps for years. Been going to games since I was 6 months old.
Yeah.
I sat through those years when Hamilton beat us, and Hamilton was one of the worst teams too. You just got to plow through it.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Well, and I watched a few of those later season games last year, and they were bringing in Tampa Bay numbers at the gate by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Like when we went to that Tampa game back in 2018, like the concourse was empty.
It was.
Yeah. And even the seats, like we probably could have picked any other seat we wanted in that building, and they wouldn't have cared.
No, it was, it's just unfortunate for those two fan bases, because you're going to miss some good baseball. And, obviously this year it's whatever, but like, don't just show up when this team starts making the playoffs again. Like, show up now. Yeah. Watch Vladdy not under pressure. Watch Bo Bichette, and his flow. Watch Gavin Biggio, and, just this team's good. Like, there's just so high expectations and of just any market in Toronto. It's just relax and just watch them.
And it's really unfortunate though, like the division that they're in, like the AL East, like you got the Yankees, and they're not shy about buying their team. Like Baltimore, they're on an uptick. And then you have Boston.
Surprisingly.
And then you have Boston, which I'm surprised where they're sitting right now at 6-14. They're usually right up there with the Yankees buying their team. But, they lost a big piece of the puzzle, though, this year with, my team, the Dodgers, signing Mookie Betts. So I'm sure Boston is just kicking themselves on that one, right?
Yeah, but I think they got a pretty good haul in return. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think a lot of
I can't remember the trade. I just know that we got Betts, and that's really all that I really cared about.
I think a lot of people were thinking Mookie would have played this season and then
fled.
And then would have left. But then, of course, there was the possibility of no baseball this year. And that would have meant all the contracts would have ended that were supposed to. Yep. So he could have been a free agent without ever playing for the Dodgers, but then decides to sign a 13-year, however million dollar deal. I
know it's going to hurt the Dodgers in probably about 4 years.
But he's a good player. The Dodgers are, I hate to say this, but like the Dodgers are a really good team.
There's another sound
just
clip.
When it's not October. But
thanks for that. 1989 World Series champions.
Yeah, that was the same year Taylor Swift was born too. But anyway,
that's the same year that the Flames won the last Stanley Cup too. Their first and only.
But yeah, I mean, Dodgers got Kershaw, Betts, Peterson. Team's good. It's just they need to figure out October.
As much as I like Kershaw, I think it's almost time for him to go.
Really?
Yeah. Like, he's been lights out for us, but I think they really rely on him in the playoffs. Like, how many late games, like, that go into, like, extra innings was he out there pitching when he's supposed to start the next game?
Yeah.
And it's like, you either have to boost up the bullpen and have pitchers pitch more than one inning. There's got to be a strategy, I guess, with what they do. And I guess, in the
Well, I mean,
playoffs, you
I'm
just
liking their
battle it.
strategy of doing real well in the regular season. You can have all the NL West pennants you want, but
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks for that. So, like,
there's only one that matters.
yes, and that's the World Series.
But hey, I have said, I don't know if I've said it to you, but I have said that if I would like to see a Dodgers game at Dodger Stadium one day, but only if it's against San Francisco.
Huh. You
I do
honestly
think that
know.
stadium's really nice.
Dodger Stadium is quite nice, and apparently it's even nicer since they did the renovations too.
Yeah. And I mean, LA is,
A shithole.
well, I mean, I was going to say it's kind of a nice, yeah, I mean, it's LA, but I don't know, the times I've been in the area, it's been nice.
Standings wise, so we got, Yankees leading the AL East, which is no surprise. Twins leading the AL Central, which is not really bit of surprise either. Cleveland's a game and a half back as of right now. Oakland, that one is a surprise in the AL West.
Yeah.
I like you got Texas Rangers and you got the Houston Astros. Like both of them, won World Series in the last 5 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because Texas Rangers were when we went to the Rays game, they were the previous year's winner of the World Series, and didn't Houston win it last year?
Yes. Or
that was
last year was Washington.
Oh yeah, Washington.
Washington last.
Didn't it?
So I think it was.
Oh no!
Whenever the Astros played the Dodgers, that's when they won the World Series.
Right?
Wasn't it, or was it against? Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was because there was that sign stealing.
Yeah.
Really nice to see Altuve really performing well this year too, right?
Yeah, I definitely don't think Houston being this bad is a coincidence. I think that they've, I mean, every team's going after them.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Course.
I don't think Oakland really cared much per se. And then they actually got in a huge brawl the other day.
Yes, I remember that.
But
yeah,
the Houston manager got like a 20-game suspension.
Oh,
it was just a mess. Like every team's just going after them. I don't even care. As soon as you play Houston, you're like, all right,
yeah,
just hit them. Like we don't even care if we lose. Like injure them. Like, and I'm not really a fan of that type of play, but
no. Well,
that's where these teams are going
who
with
is?
it. Yeah, who is? But that's just where everyone's like Houston. All right, whatever.
Yeah, and
take them out however you feel.
And one of my friends is a big Houston fan. Like and I do apologize to RJ that I'm not really a big Houston fan, and he really hated the when the sign stealing came out. I hounded him nonstop about it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, no, it, to a certain point, everybody has to get over it, move on, and just play. So, and, if it takes this shortened season for the Astros to get beat up, maybe next year they'll be right back in contention. Mm-hmm. So that was the American League. So did the National League ever go to the designated hitter? I am so out of it on this.
Yeah, they did. I think just for this year, but I think
I thought that they were wanting to do it all the time. It's
interesting because, like, San Francisco's had pitchers do really well in terms of batting.
Right.
Like, not saying Aaron Judge type numbers,
no,
but...
Well, on base percentage, right?
Yeah, like, Madison Bumgarner in the past, has hit home runs, even off Clayton Kershaw, going to bring that up. But you know what I mean? Like, so they've had good pitchers hit.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're really opposed to it.
Right.
But in the state of trying to, think of player safety, player health, longevity.
Yeah.
I think teams are looking to, but then that's just another player that you have to think about who you're going to make that designated hitter.
Oh, 100%.
So it's puts a lot more on the manager, I think, than really ever before for the NL at least.
Well, and truthfully, I kind of like the pitcher sitting. That, that's why I like the National League. You didn't have the DH. But it is what it is. So I guess, I don't know, Miami, they're leading the NL East, and they played half the games that everybody else has played. Oh, I guess you got Philadelphia in that era too.
Oh, okay.
So Philadelphia's played 17 games. Miami's played a whopping 13 games. Then you have the Braves, who's played 21 games. Mets have played 21 games, and the Nationals have played 17. So, but lovely. So yeah,
I mean, Atlanta Braves. Mike Soroka from Calgary, I think ruptured his Achilles or tore his right Achilles.
Ouch.
Coming off the mound, and he's only, I think, 22 years old. He was the youngest starter in Atlanta Braves history.
Oh, wow.
For opening day, and only pitched 2 games.
Well, that's a season-ending injury, with the shortened season, right?
Yeah, and that might take him out into this time next year, because most players take about a full year to recover. And if we're looking at a full year, we're looking at August of 2021, assuming, knock on wood, that we'll have somewhat normalcy coming in next year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think everybody's wanting a vaccination or vaccine or whatever you want to call it late this year. So yeah, right now I don't see Miami staying on top with the amount of games that they played right now. But just win percentage wise, this season is so out of whack. So now we got the NL Central. You have Chicago Cubs, which isn't really too big of a surprise, leading that division. Then you got the Reds, the Brewers, and the Cardinals, who's played a whopping 5 games. And they're only 5 games back of Chicago, which I don't... who knows? They might have a little bit of time, but, with all their doubleheaders, 11 doubleheaders scheduled, it's just going to be a grueling season for them. And
it's going to take a lot out of them.
Yeah. Let's move to the NL West. So, do you want to announce who's leading the NL West?
What's San Diego at one point?
It was Colorado at one point, too. Now they're only half
Colorado,
a game
too.
back of the... Come on. You can say it. LA Dodgers.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, so... Which isn't really much of a surprise on that one. Colorado.
It's really not. I think Colorado's been a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought Arizona would have been better with Baumgartner.
Yeah, Yeah, he's had I don't know. I mean, you kind of mentioned it in, I think, golf about trying not to blame COVID for everything.
Yeah.
But I think he's a guy that, I mean, he's old in sports terms.
Yeah.
I think he's like 20 or maybe in his 30s at this point. Pretty
Okay.
sure. He would have benefited from a full spring training, would have benefited from, regular play, right? Like,
Yeah. He's
now,
31, by the way.
his
And he's injured
ERA,
right now,
I
too,
think, is
sorry.
over 5, like 5 runs a game's given up. No, he wasn't, in his later years, he wasn't phenomenal with San Francisco.
His ERA
But he was still...
So right now his ERA is a 9.35.
Oh, okay. Even worse than I thought.
Yeah. And he's out injured too.
Yes,
His
I
back.
did hear that. Yeah, it's been a time for him. Like, yeah, in his later years, like he started, his ERA started going up, but he was still the best pitcher to give the team a chance to win.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but yeah, he's a guy that definitely would have liked to have seen better, but certainly would have benefited from an actual full spring training.
Right.
Rather than whatever it is Arizona did.
Yeah.
Because I don't think every team had the exhibition games.
They played inter-squad games.
Okay.
And I think...
I thought it was only a select amount of teams, but maybe they were part of it.
I thought they played inter-squad games and a few teams played other teams as well.
Okay. I was going to say, either way, it's not ideal.
No.
Especially for the older guys who do have routines and, their bodies are so set on, the time of year.
Yeah.
Where the younger guys are kind of, young bodies, fresh.
Oh, 100%.
Do whatever. But, us old guys in our late 20s.
Early 30s.
we need a routine, we gotta like, we know when summer's coming, we know when winter's coming.
Bringing up the last in the NL West is San Francisco,
The 3-time World Series champion. Speaking of mistakes, this Giants team, they got a lot of them. They're good. You know what I mean? Like, they're good, but their bullpen is horrible. Like, 5 runs given up in the top of the 9th. You have a 7-2 lead, and you give up a grand slam.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, no matter what team you are,
well,
you can't do that.
And where's Posey?
He opted out because him and his wife already have kids, but then they adopted 2 twins who were born premature.
Right.
So he decided to opt out. So
I'm looking at your roster, and the only person I recognize is Evan Longoria. Is that bad?
That's bad.
Yeah, that's absolutely horrible.
Get used to Mike Yastrzemski. His grandpa played in Boston back in the day.
Okay.
Who else should you memorize? I don't know. I'll buy you a jersey and with some Giants player on it. Yeah.
No,
I got you.
No, you can actually go to hell on that one.
No, it's okay. I'd rather buy you a Giants jersey than
me going into your store buying a Dodgers jersey, right?
Yeah.
I'll just order one online.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So you don't have to touch any Dodgers merchandise.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, as you said, it looks like a AAA team.
Yeah, that's honestly pretty much what it is.
Yeah, I really like what the Jays did with their stadium and Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
They added the lights, and it doesn't, to be honest with you, like being the only team playing in a AAA ballpark, it does not really look out of the norm at all.
No, it really doesn't. Watched one of their games the other night. It was against Miami when I think they had a lead. Or no, I think they had a lead, gave it up, and then came back in the late ninth or extra innings.
Right.
But yeah, like it just seems like the left field is a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
Then, because I think that's where a couple of Jays like homered back to back was that one area. So now that could be home field advantage, or that could work against them.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, other than that, like you said, everything else seemed
like they did really
normal.
Decent seat coverings and like, yeah, it to me it looked good. They put in like the cardboard fans right behind home plate, and actually I seen the Dodgers actually put in cardboard stands. I was actually going to get a picture of you and put you back there too. I was going to pay the $75 and get you right behind home plate.
How much was it?
I think $75.
Dang, that's cheaper than the Giants. Giants is $99 US.
Well, $75 US, I guess.
Ours is $99 US.
That's not bad. Either way.
No, I wanted to. I asked Brianna if she would get me one, but
that was a hard no.
She said no. I don't know why. I don't ask for much. I just wanted a cardboard cutout of myself at AT&T Park. That's it.
Well, if you can't make it to a game there, at least
I just didn't
a representation.
Want to spend $100.
Oh, of course not.
Exactly.
Of course not. I guess off to kind of a preview of basketball. I don't know. Are they? Seems to me like they're pretty much all set on standings and where everybody's going to be placed. I don't want to.
I think we should first recognize the NBA for their bubble system and how extraordinarily well it's worked.
Except for that one person that went out to the strip club.
Oh yeah, Lou Williams. let's name names. Lou Williams, former Raptor, I'm pretty sure.
Oh really?
I think he was with. I'm pretty don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he was with the Raptors. If not, I'm for sure. I think he was with the Lakers for a while too.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went out and he just apparently wanted some takeout.
Yeah, like
not sure what kind of takeout he was expecting.
I honestly think this, deserves a standing ovation. Yes. Take a bow. Yeah, like, I do have to commend like NBA and hockey, like their bubbles are working flawlessly. And unfortunately, when you're playing at Disney and you can't go to the parks, which kind of sucks, but that would be my letdown. I don't know about yours.
Yeah, I mean, that would kind of suck. I did hear somewhere that they were thinking about letting the players go in after hours.
Yeah.
Or like just for a little bit. I don't know if they ever did. I haven't seen anything that says that, but I think that was kind of like what they were talking about.
Of course, who wouldn't want to drink around the world after midnight?
Oh my God. I do know like Brooke and Robin Lopez are big Disney fans.
Right.
I actually served, I think it was Brooke Lopez a couple times in Epcot. One time I remember asking for his ID because he came in a big group and I was like,
right.
Oh, I need to see everyone's IDs, but I only did it just so I can
just for proof,
just to look at his ID and be like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God, I'm touching an ID, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I honestly knew they were all over age and everything. Like, they were actually like a respectful group, but I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. But like, I knew what I was doing. I wasn't dumb. I know what I'm doing.
We have to ID anybody under 30.
Yeah, exactly. And big groups. That's the rule.
Yeah.
I'm just doing my job. So Disney, if you're listening.
I'm actually depressed you never ID'd me when I was there.
I don't think you ordered from us, but anyway.
I had a moose head,
Yeah,
but I don't
you
think
go.
you were
That's
working
good.
though. But so,
but yeah, no. So, I know like the Lopez brothers are like big Disney fans, so I think for them it probably sucks that they couldn't get into the parks.
yeah,
But yeah, ESPN Worldwide of Sports, beautiful facility. I think they've done a phenomenal job of, allowing other NBA players to watch games.
are they?
They don't they don't normally get to do that. I think Kyle Lowry watched some of the Spurs games because obviously DeMar DeRozan connection there.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
But yeah, like players were able to go watch and, which obviously they don't really do a lot normally because they're on the road all the time or, so far out of like away from each other that they can't. So like, that's been pretty cool. Probably cool for them. They probably won't really admit it much, but
well, in that building,
nice
isn't
for
there
them
like
to
multiple
kind of
courts?
relax and watch other teams play. And
Yeah.
the Raptors finished with the best winning percentage in team history.
736 win percentage, 53-19.
Yeah, so that would have put them on pace for over 60 wins, which I think would have been a franchise best.
Yeah. So do you think?
So, and this is all without Kawhi Leonard too.
Yeah.
Right. Like this team got better.
Yeah. Well, I think after the one championship, you kind of do gain the confidence.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like this team was good. This team's always good.
Yeah.
But they were never great. Then they became great and won the championship.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people were like, okay, now they're just going to be good again.
Right.
Still in the playoffs, still in the mix. Good.
Yeah.
But now they're like, we're great and we're going to stay great.
Yeah.
And that's huge. Like, you're like, yeah, like, thanks, Kawhi. Appreciate it. Danny Green, appreciate it. I have a Kawhi jersey, so like, I really wish he stayed, but
You jinxed him. Just like me and the Flames.
Maybe. I don't think he was staying anyway. I don't think he would have. I mean, I think obviously I don't know him personally. I think he regrets it though. Well, because
wasn't he like
he left a real good organization.
Yeah.
Like this organization under Masai Ujiri wants to win. Like they're not out there playing, games with each other. Like,
yeah,
you're in the bubble and you're gonna win.
Yeah,
like that's what you're there for.
Oh, of course.
Like have fun, obviously, but like, the big goal is to get that back to back. Yeah, so it's kind of a awkward moment for myself the other day. I was watching the Mavericks play, and I didn't really click in to the teams that I was watching.
Right.
Then all of a sudden I heard the announcer say a pass back to Curry. And I was like, what? I was like, Steph isn't playing. I was like, the Warriors aren't playing. Then I was like, oh. I was like, Seth Curry. I was like, oh no. I was like, I didn't mean to disrespect him. I mean, obviously no one was in my head, but I'm like, oh no. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I forgot that you played. Well, not that I forgot, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, you just hear so much about Steph that Seth is just kind of there.
Well, and I never, and their dad, didn't he play for Toronto?
He did for a couple years.
And I didn't know that until maybe last year's Toronto Raptors run.
Yeah, it's when Drake put on the Del Curry Raptors jersey.
Right. Yeah.
I think for game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Yeah. And I had to Google who Del Curry was, and it's like, oh, And me not knowing that much about basketball, I kind of made the mistake and asked my son how the Golden State Warriors were
Yeah, not good.
in this, play-in, whatever you want to call it. And he's
15 wins on the season.
and he got mad at me. I don't know how you rubbed off on him. Like, he's a big Warriors fan, like his Uncle Nathan.
Warriors, yeah, they were a victim of
Injury.
Injury and, and I guess getting knocked off their high horse. Like, I mean, they had 5 NBA Finals appearances in a row.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time that's ever happened. Like, maybe Lakers or even the Bulls in the 90s, but
I can't even remember if the Bulls ever had that. Because Jordan
went 3-2 in those series.
Because Jordan didn't lose a final, right?
No, he never lost the final. But he did. So they had that run of 3.
Yeah.
And then he left.
Yeah.
And then they had that second run of 3.
Yeah. And sport fans, if they're cheering for a championship team, they do kind of get spoiled.
Yeah. And I mean, Golden State fans have, obviously, once a team does well, everyone's like, oh, that's my team. But then when they lose, they back off.
Yeah.
Golden State fans have actually been quite loyal to their team for a long time. Like, they've actually had a really good fan base for many, many, many years. So a lot of, when the Raptors were playing Toronto and, like, I was kind of in the middle. I did cheer for Toronto. Yeah. Like, I did get a Kawhi jersey before I got a Curry jersey. Just putting that out there. But, like, going at each other, I'm like Toronto fans, like, you've been good, but, like, you haven't really been as loyal as the Golden State fans. Because I think Golden State last one before their run was, like, in the 70s, I think, was their last championship.
Right.
Or something like that. Like, it was a long time. Because then it was, like, the 80s was, like, the Lakers, Celtics era.
Yeah.
90s was the Bulls.
Yeah.
Early 2000s would have been
Miami.
I don't remember Miami and the Spurs, I think.
Yeah.
And so Toronto's really only been around for 26 years.
Yeah.
25 years.
Oh, of course.
So, that was just like this Warriors team, like, they've had a fan base for a long time, and they beat the Mavericks in 2007 in the first round, I think, and they were called the We Believe team. And it was like, if you just look up on the YouTubes, as they say. No one says that.
No, nobody says it. It's not going to catch on, Nathan. It's not going to go viral. Sorry to say.
Like, you just look up the highlights of that series, and that Oakland crowd was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, eventually teams get spoiled, and then it gets taken away from them. But, injuries to Klay Thompson, Achilles injury, like, that took him out a whole year. Obviously, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But Steph broke his hand 4 months. Pretty much, I think he got back like maybe a week or two, maybe a month. Then the season ended.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Your son and I will share a few drinks and reminisce on the good old days. He'll have an apple juice, and I'll have the sparkling apple juice.
We'll
reminisce together.
To be honest with you, I'm sure he'll have a beer and you'll have a sparkling apple juice.
Yeah.
We start drinking young in Saskatchewan. He'll challenge you to a game of beer darts.
I don't even know what that is, but I'll do beer pong with them.
Oh, beer darts? Oh, God. Beer darts is fun. You actually, like, so normally the way beer darts, you have 2 people per team, and you're sitting you're sitting face to face, but like kind of far away. So you have like darts, and you put a can of beer beside you, and as the other team, you're supposed to hit the other person's beer, puncture it, and then they're supposed to chug it. But where things get interesting, if you so choose, you can actually block the dart.
Oh.
So
with what?
Your hand, your leg.
Oh,
so
God.
There's actually, the drunker you get, the funner it gets, because the drunker you get, the more, how do you say, braver you get? And the more braver you get, you really don't care about getting stabbed with a dart. It's a really fun redneck game.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I'm really surprised that, you city folks don't really know about it. You guys have your games like beer pong and yeah. That's all I'm going to go with. So, think I'm going to have to brush up and kind of see where everything is on this NBA before I start making predictions. So we'll probably leave that one to the next show or whatever you want to call this podcast.
I mean, I can make predictions.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, if you want.
Well, I mean, to be fair, not everyone. The playoffs aren't officially set yet.
No,
still waiting.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to make predictions. To be fair to the NBA, who's not going to know anything about me, but
you never know.
Fair to them, and if I get Adam Silver calling me up over this,
wouldn't that be a
I'll
miracle?
be surprised. It'd be great. I hope he should. He needs to make a Canadian Disney ambassador for the NBA.
Who's Adam Silver?
Just saying. He's the commissioner of the league.
Ah, okay. Okay.
He's the big honcho.
Okay. I wasn't 100% sure. That's kind of where I thought he was, but
NBA Disney ambassador. Just throw that out there.
Okay. All right. So I think we'll probably end it on that note.
Yeah, we'll come up with an ending.
Yeah, we got to come up with a decent ending, not just, this song, right?
Sayonara.